Hello and welcome to a special episode of Relu Kate. Today we have a special guest who has gone viral recently online. But just to let you know, he's not just famous for his documentary to Pakistan. He's been covering cricket for a while. I've been listening to his podcast. I did not know that it was the same Dennis Freedman when I came across the documentary. But Dennis Freedman is famous for doing his documentary on Pakistan, which is called Dennis Does Pakistan. And he's gracefully given us time for our Relu Kate show today. We will shoot him some questions about Pakistan in general, trolling some specific cricket teams that he loves to do, and his general views on cricket. And also, being an Aussie, we would definitely like to ask him about the Ashes. So, straight up, Dennis, first of all, we know after watching your documentary, we all know why you did the Pakistan documentary, what prompted you to go there. Even though you summed it up in your documentary, I have one basic question about that. What was your overriding feeling when you did the whole thing? I mean, you said you wanted to find the connection between Pakistan and cricket, the whole thing. What was the one thing that you came home with?
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for having me on the show. Very exciting. And apologies for wiping my nose live on your show.
Everything goes online.
Yeah, put it up. I don't care. I have no shame. So look, I probably think the one thing I came home with was I'll rephrase. So when I went to Pakistan, you go there with a whole lot of perceptions that are created for you by media, by government websites, travel websites that have big red warning logos that say "Do not travel to Pakistan," and things like that. So you have all these perceptions about what you're going to find and what it could be. And I had some idea, I think, in my mind, because I've spent some time in India over the journey. And I thought it must be something like that. But they are different countries. And I think that the one thing I came back with was just how welcoming and safe I felt. Being a Gora, walking around some of your major cities is... it's not what you normally see in Pakistan. I saw more Goras in Islamabad, I think, because it's
More diplomatic city.
It's an international place with all the international embassies and everything. But Karachi, I did not see one, and Lahore maybe saw one or two. And but never did I feel intimidated or that people are leering at me or watching me or. I never, not like in India. I remember in India, you can walk down some of the streets and people follow you just to take a selfie because there's a white guy. None of that rubbish was going on in Pakistan. I was just a person like everybody else, and as I said, I felt safe. I felt welcomed. It was amazing, to be honest. I didn't expect that. I thought there would be a little bit of, again, from my previous experience in India, that there would be the kids following you and people asking you, pulling at your shirt, asking for money, or just things I had in my head. But there was none of that. I was sitting at the roadside stalls eating Unday Wella burger and drinking fresh lime, and no one cared. Even maybe once we had one stall owner offer to pay for my meal. He said, "Oh, you're my guest," and that was the only time where me being a foreigner probably played out. But the rest of the time I was in India, in Pakistan. You guys, it's very egalitarian. I like that.
Did you? Two things about that. Okay, one is, did you notice? Did you come across any Pathans that you thought looked white?
No, I don't think so. I didn't really get northwest enough. I got as far as Natia Gali.
Yeah,
that's about as far as I got.
I remember some visa issues. I remember that.
Yeah. I wasn't introduced into any Pathans directly. I mean, I've seen lots of photos of them and so forth. I mean, with the blue eyes and the fair skin and the light hair. It's an amazing looking race. They almost look German.
They are descendants of Europeans. Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. But no, I don't recall.
The other thing, Dennis, the other thing I noticed after watching, so I did not know exactly when it was recorded when I started watching it, but quickly I realized that you recorded it in 2017, somewhere around that, right? Why did it take so long for it to come out?
That's another long story. So up until maybe 4 weeks before I actually got there, I was going to record the whole thing by myself with a selfie stick on an iPhone. And then through some luck and a lot of generosity from Pakistan Cables, they donated some money to allow us to film it properly. And so we did, and you have to remember, we had over 160 hours of footage times 3 cameras. So over 500 hours of footage that we had to work through. And then ideally I would have liked it to have come earlier, no problem, obviously, but this is going to sound stereotypical. I was relying on Pakistani men under the age of 30 in Lahore to put this together for me, so everything was always going to be late.
All right. So now I know. There's just to that, there's a famous football journalist called Tim Vickery. So he quotes this book always. He says that South Asians, he says, from my experience, South Asians and Brazilians are the same people. And one thing I keep in mind, I tell everybody who goes in either of those places, is a man in a rush or a hurry is always a sad man. So whenever...
Yeah, and that was a big culture clash for me, because I'm a man of... I make decisions quickly and I like to move fast. I have a saying that fast beats slow, and don't let perfect get in the way of great. And unfortunately in Pakistan, slow always wins. There is no fast.
Slow and steady wins the race.
And there's no such thing as perfection. It's always kind of okay. So I really struggled culturally. Yeah, I struggled culturally to work with my producers in Pakistan to move this thing at a pace that I wanted it to move at. That's just the reality. I would have liked to have turned it around in 8 weeks. That was the original plan. It took us 14 months.
Yeah, exactly. That was the surprising fact. Anyways, probably Saqib.
Ben, have some questions for you.
Yeah, so Dennis, we watch your Dennis Does PSL throughout your shows in the PSL. So tell me, what was your best moment? What did you like the most in the PSL? And if you like any particular PSL team in any aspect, and why?
Good questions, Saqib. So I did Dennis Does PSL. I did PSL 3 with Cricingif. And I was going to do a PSL 4 this year with Cricingif as well, but I couldn't get out of Melbourne. I had some commitments. So I'll be back for PSL 5, inshallah. But my favourite memory... it didn't show in any of the videos, but I got invited to Viv Richards' 50th birthday party.
Oh.
And I declined to go because I hadn't actually met the guy, and I said, I don't think it's the right thing to do.
Quetta Gladiators camp?
So I didn't go, but I got an invite to go. And my favourite team is Quetta, closely followed by Zalmi.
Of course.
And mainly because of the owners. So Nadeem Omar, who owns Quetta Gladiators, is the most beautiful human being on this planet. And I can't. There's not enough love I can express for that man. He treats me like a son, and has only been supportive of everything I've been doing with Dennis Does Pakistan, Dennis Does PSL, and he and his sons and his wife, just an amazing family, and what they're doing for the guys, in Baluchistan at Quetta Way, trying to revive an area that's been battered by war is amazing. And then I have a soft spot for Zalmi because Javed Afridi and we have a little, we like to banter with each other. And he's a good guy. He's doing some wonderful things with Global Zalmi, and again, both those guys are in PSL ownership roles for the right reasons. They're trying to grow cricket in Pakistan, give chances to young kids, and grow hope in the villages that anybody can become a superstar. And I compare that with, say, what was that guy from Multan, Shlom, and those guys. They're in it for different reasons, and now they're gone. So I'm glad that the right people are shining through. And I was so happy when Quetta won PSL 5 just for the Nadeem's family. That guy deserves every success.
And how come you didn't like my team, Lahore Qalandars Honours, Fawad Rana?
I love Fawad Rana. He's a wonderful guy as well. He and I have some good fun, but the problem with Lahore Qalandars is, I only support winners. So
winners on the bottom.
It'd be like supporting RCB. If you like losing every week, you follow those teams.
they've picked up.
You just need to change your perspective, or you just need to see the table upside down, and you would see the winners there.
But since
You mentioned RCB, so I tried to go through your timeline on your Twitter for a way back.
That's a bad thing.
I mean,
It was a bit of a rabbit hole I went into, but
Oh,
the
you
thing
could
is-
you could go further than the recent nudes that he shared.
no, I wanted to know.
Just so
what's your
you're
beef with
aware,
India?
I have a rolling delete on my tweets. So every 30 days they delete for good. And I learned that from Martin Crowe, God bless him. He and I struck up a wonderful friendship, and he used to delete his tweets every 14 days. And I asked him why he did that, and he said, Dennis, because nobody else is, so you've got to be a little bit different if you want to cut through. And so I've taken that from him, and it's probably the best thing I've done. It's probably saved me from getting sued a lot of times.
So the basic question: what started your whatever it is between you and Indian fans in India? Why is it? I mean, I'm not that being Pakistani fans we're complaining. I mean, I enjoy it thoroughly.
He's a
but,
troll magnet.
But why?
There's no why. I go after everyone's fans, including Australia's. It's just that the Indian fans respond in the most ridiculous ways. So they struggle with humour, I think. But I've trolled Pakistan, I troll Australia, I troll England, I troll the Ashes is coming out. You watch me go after England. Don't worry, it'll be heavy.
I'm sure.
It's just that when I troll India, they write newspaper articles in the Hindustan about it for some reason. It's ridiculous.
Talking about trolling. I've been told you're not a fan of James Anderson, but do you know about his podcast? Have you heard about it?
The Tailenders.
It's overrated. Yeah.
I like it. But anyway, so in that podcast, they have this segment where it was a long story, but he had this hand shredder where he did shredding. So, when Ashwin did the man cut, so he shredded Ashwin's picture, and
I saw that.
Yeah, so he started getting death threats after that. And there is
Dude, I get death threats on a daily basis. I've had 2 cricketers threaten to sue me with legal letters. I get death threats on a daily basis. Like but it's just kids with keyboards. It's not. It's I don't know. What's that guy's name? The Indian gangster. I forget his name. He's based in Dubai now. Ibrahim. Darwin Ibrahim. It's not as though Darwin Ibrahim is coming after me, right? So it's some 17-year-old kid who's using his father's data plan on his iPhone. So I'm not too worried.
Sounds about right. Okay.
And for the record, I don't hate James Anderson. I don't hate anybody. I just make fun of James Anderson because there was a time there 5 years ago where the English press, and they still do, think he's the greatest bowler that ever lived, and he's not. He's not even in the top 10. He's just happened to hang around a long time because he doesn't get injured that much. Stuart Broad is a 5 times better bowler than James Anderson. Much more effective. Anyway, carry on.
But James Anderson is way better than Skandar Bakht, home you went.
Sikandar, we played some cricket in the street outside of Sikandar's house, and he bowled some bouncers at me. He said, I can't have an Aussie come all this way and not bounce him, and he got me right in the head.
Okay, so before I had another question about your documentary.
So you were in Karachi. You had so many options to pick up so many other top cricketers. Who lined up these people for you?
You have to understand, right? When so I'm in Pakistan, working with Pakistanis who I'd never met to try and reach famous cricketers who probably have never heard of me. So it wasn't the easiest thing to get to these people. And, so we turned up and on any given day we might have had 3 interviews planned and none of them ever worked out, but we've picked up 3 other ones. I mean, we went to the Mohan Khan Academy in Karachi. We meant to meet Shahid Afridi there. He was probably my favourite cricketer of all time. And as we're pulling in our car, he's driving out in a Camry, leaving. And we pulled up and we spoke to the person, where's Shahid gone? He just couldn't be bothered doing it anymore, so he just left, right?
That's Shahid
Afridi. Shahid Afridi. I was working in a news channel in Pakistan. Shahid Afridi strung me along for a total of 4 months for one interview. After that,
I got so tired. I was like, you know what? I don't want it anymore. So that's him. That's him.
Yeah, but for us, this was everybody. So the only person who met his allocated time was Imran Khan. Everybody else, we were waiting on the phone or with 5 minutes to go, whether we're going here or there. You know, with Misbah, the time we interviewed with Misbah, I was meant to be on my way to Wagah border. We had organised with a brigadier general there to go to the gate and hit a tape ball over the fence into India as part of a tape ball. And I thought it was going to be the best vision we could ever make. And hopefully the Indian Army would shoot the ball or something, right? We were going to have a spy tape ball. And but then we got the phone call as we're driving to Wagah. Says, "Oh, Misbah's ready for you now." So we went there instead. So we had these kind of decisions being made all the time. You know, it was hard to get to people. We tried to get to people, and then other people came, and you know, we didn't plan to get to Adnan Akmal, and he just turned up because he saw a camera. You know, so we took advantage of that.
I wanted to ask
that. Did you know he was a Test cricketer at the time
when you were talking?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I knew he was a Test cricketer. I would have loved to have got to Cameron Akmal or Umar Akmal, but any Akmal is a triumph in my world. So.
Yeah, there's so many of them. You're bound to run into one of them at least.
But you know, we went to the NCA ground that day, and I can't remember the teams that were playing, but at the ground was Misbah, Yasir Shah, Abdul Razak, Adnan Akmal, Yasir Shah, and the only guy that would speak to us was Adnan because he saw the camera. Razak could talk to us as well, but we didn't use the footage because we stuffed up the microphone, so we got no sound. We got beautiful footage, no sound.
You could have used an audio dubbing actor or something.
So what happened with the Misbah challenge, though?
Yeah.
The push-up challenge. You never got the conclusion for it. Like, what happened with that?
That's it. So I don't want to spoil it because all your listeners and watchers probably haven't seen the whole documentary, but for those that recall, in Lords, I think 2015, Misbah made 100 and did push-ups afterwards, and then Pakistan, England, they squared the series 2-2. So at the end, Yunus Khan led a salute to Misbah and the team. So that's the famous thing, right? And why did Misbah do the push-ups? Because they'd been at the army camp before that, and he wanted to prove that being 42, you can still be fit. And so part of the storyline of the documentary is you can see me training to do push-ups. I was going to do a 1-minute push-up challenge against Misbah to see who could do the most push-ups. So I think I did 52 in 40 seconds or something before I got tired. But I don't want to share any more of the story, Hafeez, for people to discover it themselves, except to say that I did challenge Misbah twice to do the challenge on the documentary, and you'll see what happens.
Oh, I never.
Well, okay. Second thing, why did you not have biryani?
Oh, that was my question. Come on.
I did have biryani, kinda. So I missed it in Karachi, and this is down to the guys I was with, right? So my days were organised by the fixers that were taking me around. And we never had biryani in Karachi, and I went on the radio show with Adil. What's his surname? It's in the...
Adil.
I know him.
FM.
I did a Euro soccer show with that guy.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy. So I went on his radio show, and we talked about... I've been in Karachi 3 days. I still haven't had biryani. Anyhow, when I got to Lahore, there's a package waiting for me. He'd sent me in the mail biryani from Karachi to Lahore. Chicken biryani. When I opened it up, there's this rotting chicken in the rice because it'd been sent in the mail, so I couldn't eat it. But at least, God bless him, at least he thought about me and tried to give me a chance to try it.
There are two Karachiites sitting on my left and right, which are offended by your statement that it's overhyped.
It's just rice with chicken, man. What
You
Actually, what Adil wanted to do was to save you from actually trying biryani in Lahore. Because that's not actually biryani.
Lahoris call it biryani, but it's not. It's actually pulao.
But anyways, I don't want you to get into that.
Pulao, with a loo, without the loo. It's all the same stuff. It's very simple. I can make this stuff.
All right. That'll be your next.
Dennis Does Biryani, I guess. All right, Dennis, let's move to the World Cup. Your team is coming back into life. I mean, 8 matches on the trot.
Do you think that
my team?
Australia.
I'm a citizen of the world. I don't have a team.
Oh, all right.
So Aussies, I mean, Steven Smith is coming back into form. Warner has become a monster in IPL. So, how do you see them defending their title?
They won't defend their title. India will win the World Cup.
India will win.
it'll be an India-England World Cup, and it'll be the best thing ever because India will win it, so we'll have 4 more years of listening to their bullshit, and England will choke, and Ben Stokes will get hit for like 20 runs in the last over to lose it to Dhoni or someone, and we'll get to laugh at England never winning anything again. It'll be great fun. But look, as Australia, I think the top 4 will be India, England, Australia, and then one of South Africa or New Zealand or Pakistan, depending on how that plays out. So I think there's 7 teams to make the top 4. And where it goes from there, you never know, right? It's knockout once you make the semi-finals. So anything can happen in a day. Look what happened in the Champions Trophy.
So Dennis, do you think that the Hanscom and the Hazelwood got the harsh calls for not being selected in the World Cup?
No, Hazelwood's injured, so you can't. And they're trying to save him for the Ashes. Hanscom is extremely unlucky. Like, there's 2 views here. You can say Smith and Warner, probably the best 2 batsmen in the Australian team. They should be there. Or you can take the other view, which is based on values, and say they haven't played for a year. They need to earn their way back. My gut tells me we should have taken the second option and have these guys earn their right to be back in the team. But I can understand also why you pick the guys when it's a World Cup. But the message that gives is that you put winning above everything else, and it's the paradox there is the one reason both those guys were suspended is they put winning above everything else. So it's a difficult one. But yeah, I know they're winning at the moment. Australia have won quite a lot in a row. They beat India 5-0, which is always fun over there and whatnot. But the World Cup's a different beast, and using a Duke ball and watching it swing around, smaller grounds, it's probably made for the bigger hitters and guys who are smarter with the ball. So I wouldn't be surprised if a team like New Zealand really shine. They got some great swing bowlers with Wagner and de Grandhomme and stuff like that. Clever bowlers. I think that's what's going to be the difference. And India's pace attack is phenomenal at the moment. So
you just touched on India's pace. Sakib Bhai has a boycott of IPL. He doesn't watch IPL. I watch it pretty much every day. I don't know if you have been following it or noticed it. I've been surprised and blown away by the pace battery India has. I mean, they're like 3, 4, 5 bowlers that I've not even heard of. They're not even close to the Indian team. And they are at 147, 148 kilometers an hour.
Have you seen
that? For us by ourselves. So, India were in Australia last summer for a test series, and their pace attack is phenomenal. It's something they've never had before.
Exactly.
But now they have. They're going to be, for a long time, they're going to be very difficult to beat. Bumrah and these guys, they're so skillful, let alone with pace. So in England, that's important. So that's why I think India will win. Not their batting. I think other teams can go with India for their batting in the World Cup, but their bowling attack is going to be very difficult to overcome. It'll be their pace bowlers, not their spin bowlers, that bring home the World Cup for them. That's my prediction.
Yeah,
all right, we'll do our last round of questions. Asif, go ahead.
No, I was just trying to add to it. But I guess at this point in time, India's weakest point at this particular point in time is their middle order. I think that's gonna be a worry. Probably teams are going to exploit that, getting early wickets, and then exploit them by attacking the middle order. Question I have.
Actually, I think India's weakest point is their captain. Seriously, I think Virat's a wonderful player, but his captaincy is not strong. He lets his emotions get away with him. He can set bad tones. He's not quick in the field to make change. And I'm not sure he's great with his bowling changes either. So I think that's their weakest link. They can bat, they can bowl, but yeah.
He realizes that's his weakness, which is why he relies more on Dhoni whenever he's in team. You would see him actually consulting Dhoni all the time, and Dhoni going above and beyond and making the changes as well in the field. If you look at those matches where Dhoni is playing, he would actually take the lead at certain points in time, especially when it's pressure situation. So
Dhoni's a genius. Dhoni's done it all, but Virat's captaincy, not his batting, is definitely India's weakest link.
So let's come to the Pakistan World Cup squad. Did you know, hear about our squad, and what do you think? What are our chances? What is our strength and what is our weakness?
Yeah, I think a couple of mistakes made. I think Shinwari should have been selected, and I think Umar Akmal earned the right to be on in that team. I think that, especially Umar Akmal, for whether you love him or hate him, or you think he should have more grapes or lose weight because he drinks more water, whatever. But the reality is he can turn a game in 5 overs, and you need that. And I think Shinwari has earned it's clearly earned his place as in the the best 3 fast bowlers you have with the white ball for 50 over cricket. I also think Shan Masood's a little bit unlucky not to be in that 15, insofar as essentially has the greatest ever list day average in the history of the game from any country. Yeah. There's enough class there, and he also has a very good temperament. He's the kind of guy you need around the squad just to keep people level-headed and balanced, especially after coming out of the PSL where everybody's hyped up and a little bit happy. So there's some errors, I think. I'm comfortable though still with the pace squad. I'm very happy that Amir was not chosen. On form, he doesn't deserve to be anywhere near the squad. And then I've got another issue with Amir anyhow that you guys are well aware of. So I think Micky Arthur, his ability to gel, which is probably the hardest team to gel, which is Pakistan, is underrated and underappreciated by Pakistanis. And I think his match sense and his ability to coach young men is also underappreciated. I don't think Pakistanis quite understand the gem that they have with Micky Arthur. He is the best coach in world cricket by so far. And yet you guys tend to blame him for everything that goes wrong, forgetting everything he does right, which is, he helped you get fit. He took you to number 1 in the world with Test cricket. He got rid of the Akmal brothers and the Wahab Riazes and publicly shamed them for not taking things seriously. He got you to number 1 in T20. He won your Champions Trophy. Yet you lose a match and it's always his fault. So he's a new misbar. So you've got there's a lot of good things around there, and also there's a lot of heat on Sarfaraz as captain, and probably Hafeez as well. Probably get the most heat in terms of guys in the squad. The reality is Hafeez is the guy that won you the Champions Trophy final, and every time Sarfaraz gets under pressure, he always comes out and makes that 50. Always comes out and makes that 50 just when you think, oh, God, he's not performing. Bang, when he needs to, he does. So I like that guy's heart. He has a lot of heart. And then you also have Shahid Malik, and, that's your X factor. Shahid Malik is like Glenn Maxwell, but done properly.
Shahid Malik has been there for a long time. Yeah. 96, 97. Yeah.
Well, that's a great summation of the Pakistan team. Thank you so much, Dennis. Thank you for giving us your time. And hopefully in the future in the World Cup, if you can spare some time for us, we'd love to have you back on the show. It was great having your insight. And
one last question. Ashes or World Cup? What you're waiting?
Oh, Ashes. World Cup's a dead tournament. This could be the last one, insofar as next year the ODI World Series starts, the Test Series, the Test Championship starts this year. So we're starting, the ICC, people forget this, the ICC has now brought the Test Championship in, right? So now we have some context with Test matches, and the ODI Championship, I think, starts next year. So tournaments like the World Cup are going to be less and less important when we're playing for leagues and tables. It's going to be like the EPL. Whoever finishes top is going to have more importance than whoever won the FA Cup. So I'm looking forward to that.
But those are the only times we see India-Pakistan matches, right?
Say again, sorry, I missed that.
But those are the only times we see India-Pakistan matches.
Like, we only play in World Cups.
Yeah, that's only because Indian administrators are a bunch of arse clowns, right? So there's no reason why that should be anymore. And we saw it play out. I'm going to bring politics into this, but we just saw it play out with coming into the elections, now with the Indian Prime Minister blaming Pakistan for all the shit that went on in the Kashmir bombings, and they sent the planes over. It had nothing to do with cricket. It had nothing to even do with local politics. It's just all about elections. And if India can pull their finger out of their ass and so have a bit of leadership. But what India need is Lalit Modi to come back and run the BCCI, and then we'll have India-Pakistan matches again. That's the only way to fix it.
Before he went, Lalit Modi, you're so right. After the Pakistanis were ousted from IPL, after one edition, I remember his statement on news. He's like, next year we're not going to have an IPL without Pakistani players, and that's when he was actually ousted.
So yeah, you're so right.
Before you go, did you when I got in touch with you, when you heard I told you Relukate, did you Google Relukate? What does it mean? Did you find out anything?
Well, I should tell you. So
Relukate, I remember coming across your podcast a couple of years ago. Can't bowl, can't throw. I got the actual perspective of it from one of your episodes, the Shane one comment and the whole thing. But so Relukate basically is somebody who can bowl a little, can bat a little, considers himself an all-rounder, but really is neither batsman, neither a bowler. So,
I heard this term, actually, I lie. Sarfaraz Ahmed told me about this term, because before I went to Pakistan, I said, give me some words. He told me that term, and he gave me another one. Is it Januni or something?
Januni?
Yeah.
Somebody passionate?
Passionate. Yeah, he gave me some terms about, and he also gave me another one about a guy who thinks he's good at everything but not very good at anything in cricket. Maybe it's the same one.
It's the same thing, yeah.
Should be the same. I heard that before.
That probably is. We should be careful what
the words you take to the next country without even confirming it.
It can land you in some trouble. Anyways, thank you so much,
Dennis, for all your time, guys. That was Dennis Freedman from Australia. Do check out his documentary, Dennis Does Pakistan. It's a brilliant watch, and his podcast, which is Can't Bowl, Can't Throw. Dennis, thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you.
Have a good one, Dennis. Bye.